The series opens up in a time and area centuries from now, where a feudal society has emerged and the strongest and most brutal rose to wealth and power. This area came to be called the Badlands and is divided among 7 rival barons who control the resources necessary to daily life and enforce their rule with the aid of loyal armies known as clippers. Clippers enjoy status and comfort the general population can only dream of, and they are willing to sacrifice their lives in service to their barons. In the opening scene, Sonny, a clipper, rides his motorcycle on a dusty road that winds through bright red poppy fields. As he rides, he comes upon an overturned truck and a number of dead bodies, all tied at the wrist and chained at the ankle, except there's one shackle that's open. One survivor who seems to have escaped. Using a spyglass, he spots smoke in the distance. Hopping back on his motorcycle, Sonny finds his way to a camp of nomads whom he believes raided the truck and took what was inside. Sonny doesn't really care what's inside, but the truck belongs to his baron, Quinn, so he informs the nomads that he's going to have to take it back. Although the head of the nomads tells Sonny they know nothing about the cargo, he orders his men to attack. But every last one of them is killed with ease, including the leader. After the fight, Sonny examines the trunk the nomads stole and finds a teenage boy inside by the name of MK. After hesitantly introducing himself, the boy tells Sonny that the nomads were hired by the widow, another baron, to hunt down and capture MK. Sonny, after burying all the bodies, takes MK back to his own baron. Back at Sonny's home base named the Fort, a giant, gated section of land run by a baron named Quinn, he gives MK the lay of the land. He shows him where the young recruits train to become clippers. After seeing the brutal sights, MK is loaded in with the rest of the recruits and Quinn shows up to welcome them all. The new recruits get to know Quinn, an intimidating character with a villainous mustache and a southern accent. That introduction includes some kind words for Sonny, who it's clear has been with the Baron since he was a child and molded into a killing machine. If that wasn't clear just from the words being spoken, Quinn orders Sonny to take off his shirt. On his back are long black striped tattoos, each one representing a life he's taken. Back in the yard, there's a clear pecking order for the recruits. A bully named Ajax attacks MK, but they don't get to throw too many punches before Sonny steps in. The fight is caused by Ajax taking a medallion from around MK's neck. It clearly means a lot to MK, and when Sonny takes it for safekeeping, he sees the emblem of a city imprinted on it. Recognition flashes through his eyes. During a brief flashback, it seems that Sonny inherited a similar medallion from a dying man, perhaps his murdered father. In fact, there's a lot of mystery to Sonny. He rides into some sort of town for a rendezvous with a lover who then informs him that she's pregnant. He tells her that she can't keep the baby as it's punishable by death. When Sonny comes back to Quinn's stronghold, he finds MK and Ajax fighting again. This time though, Ajax has cut MK, which causes the latter's eyes to go red, and he gets super strength. He launches Ajax back into a mirror, catches a piece of shattering glass, and then throws it into Ajax's eye. Recovering in Sonny's room after his rage out, MK explains that he doesn't know what happens to him, but that it happens every time he bleeds. With no further explanation provided, the two start talking about the medallion with the city imprinted on it. The city is called Azra, and it seems to be a mystical place outside the Badlands that nobody is quite sure exists. It is revealed that MK got the medallion from his mother and has been looking for her and Azra ever since, but Sonny refuses to share any more about the city. Instead, he heads back into that strange town to find his lover from earlier, only to stop short of the door and turn back. He doesn't get too far though before he's ambushed by several men, which is a great excuse to have a fight in the pouring rain. It's a classic martial arts scene, with Sonny expertly handling everyone that comes his way, and there's some inspired direction to boot, as the camera moves inside a nearby car and shoots outward, framing Sonny and his enemies through the window. This fight is all for show though, it's orchestrated by the widow. She tells him to bring the boy to her or there will be consequences. Back on Quinn's land, MK is determined to get his medallion back. He sneaks into a room that turns out to be occupied by Ryder, the son and unsuitable heir to Quinn's title as Baron. Ryder catches him stealing the medallion and hands it over to his mother, who also recognizes the imprint of Azra. When Sonny returns and hears that MK is being held underground in a cage for his attempted thievery, he decides to set him free. He tells him that he never got a chance to choose freedom, so he's giving it to MK. He takes him outside and sends him down an underground tunnel that leads to the other side of Quinn's fortress. A grateful MK then runs into the night. Unbeknownst to them, the Baron's wife witnesses the whole thing. Elsewhere in his strip club, The widow walks in. Minerva, more commonly known as the Widow, is one of the 7 barons of the Badlands. She is the Baron of Oil and leads an army of clippers she calls butterflies. She is looking to have a chat with her former regent, who just so happens to be enjoying a dance from a woman making sparks with a buzzsaw on her plated chest. The widow wants to recruit people to go after Quinn, but everyone is reluctant or scared. Good help can be hard to find in the Badlands. Just as the widow is being turned down by her former regent, a gang of assassins slowly sits all around the club. Suddenly, an assassin throws his hand axe at her, but it hits her former regent instead and kills him on the spot. The group of assassins then tries to storm the widow, but she takes them all down with extreme ease. One attacker is left alive, so the widow asks who hired them. He tells her that it was Ryder, Quinn's son, who put the hit out on her. With that information out, she kills him and leaves the club. Meanwhile, MK has spent the whole night trying to escape, only stopping in the forest to drink some water. When he does, he stumbles upon a girl about his age. She's quick with a throwing knife, kills a squirrel, and easily sneaks up on MK before he has any idea she even saw him. When some of Quinn's men and dogs are heard in the distance, she helps MK escape, taking him across the border to the widow's land. She does so because she's the widow's daughter, Matilda, which also explains her superior knife skills and superhuman speed. Later, the widow is excited to see the boy, as he fits the description of the one she's been looking for, the very one she told Sonny to bring to her. MK, trying to save his own life, lies about his identity, and also lies when the widow shows him a picture of Azra, the city seen on his mother's pendant. Back in Quinn's territory, he's working to figure out who among his men could have helped MK escape, and also who could have hired the men to attack the widow. Considering the look he gives his son during their meal, it seems like he knows, or at least suspects, that Ryder had something to do with it. There's a chance that Quinn also suspects Sonny of some wrongdoing, as he takes him beyond the wall for a trip. Just the two of them. While the excursion does have a rather logical purpose, with the Baron going to see a loyal doctor and learning that his brain tumor is growing, there's a more sinister intention lurking as well. When the Baron leaves the doctor's house, he orders Sonny to go in and kill both the doctor and his wife. Sonny is distraught, not only because they are innocent people, but they're also the adoptive parents of his pregnant lover, Vale. Sonny refuses to kill them, so Quinn does it himself, but not without a warning to Sonny. He tells him that he doesn't often give second chances, so Sonny better be careful moving forward. While the Baron is straight up murdering people, the widow is making plans to take him down. She invites a few nomads to her house in hopes of recruiting them for her fight. When they decline, saying they could never team up with 2 girls, the widow makes an offer. Matilda will fight one of her men, and if she wins, the nomads have to join them. The men, of course, agree to the deal. Matilda is too good though, and she kills the nomad rather easily, hopping off his shoulders and turning his head around a full 180 degrees. With the nomads now on her side, the widow turns her attention to finding out if MK is the boy with special powers whom she's been looking for. She tells Matilda to provoke him and draw blood. While she initially agrees, MK convinces her not to do it. Instead, they fake the drawing of blood and, for now, convince the widow that MK doesn't have any crazy powers. Still, MK is stuck in the house and could be found out at any second, so Matilda agrees to help him escape. Late at night, when they can't find a secret passage out of the house, and the widow stumbles upon them, Matilda kisses MK to make it look like they just want to find a secret place to kiss. That angers the widow enough to ask MK to leave, to suggest that he's no longer welcome in her house. The nomads know that there's a bounty out for MK, though, so they just steal the boy and bring him to an abandoned warehouse where they've set up a trap for Ryder and Sonny. Ryder, being the idiot that he is, fell for a trick played by the nomads, who made it look like they were stealing opium from Quinn and storing it in an abandoned warehouse. Because Ryder is insecure, head-headed, and constantly feels the need to prove himself, he relays the info to his father. While Quinn seems unsure of the information, Sonny offers to at least check it out with Ryder. They both head to the warehouse where, once inside, several nomads hang Ryder from the ceiling and then attack Sonny. However, Sonny is not rash like Ryder and has got quite a few nomad bodies in his past. He even manages to balance on skinny beams and slaughter 8 enemies at once. Soon, Sonny manages to kill off most of the nomads, but the ringleader gets the upper hand. That's when MK, who was locked in the trunk of the car outside and somehow got out, stabs him through the chest and saves Sonny's life. Not only does MK save Sonny's life, but he also admits that he lied about one thing. He does know a way out of the Badlands, and perhaps to Azra. With that in mind, Sonny brings MK back to Quinn's house, where he can keep him safe under his watch. He also tells Quinn that since the boy saved his and Ryder's life, he wants to make him his colt, which is an understudy of sorts. He's going to train MK to be a fighter, and while Quinn may believe it's to serve his needs, Sonny wants to train him so that he can take Vale and her unborn child safely out of the Badlands. That's all well and good, but Quinn is ruthless and perceptive. There is an air of uncertainty of how long they can keep the charade up, and just what will happen when their secret is exposed. Following this, Quinn leads a group of his clippers and some colts along with Sonny to invade the widow's territory due to her hiring nomads who severely wounded Ryder. They break into her mansion and kill most of her soldiers at her fort. Sonny tells the colts, including MK, to stay put and act as a lookout while the clippers fight. MK sneaks off from the group, finds his way into the widow's house, and steals the book about Azra that he spotted when he was taken in earlier. He then grabs the book from the widow's desk and hears commotion. The widow's pupils are being led away to safety. He calls Tilda, who only looks at him before leaving as the others are calling for her. Quinn fights the widow, stating that no one comes after his family and has the upper hand. But mid-fight, he suffers from a migraine and collapses. Sonny intervenes and chases after the widow, who escapes through the secret passage inside the house. When Quinn returns to his residence, his wife Lydia is not too happy to see him. She's had to spend time with his next wife, Jade, and also watch as their son slowly dies. When she confronts him about his lack of interest in their son's well-being, he responds in a very Quinn kind of way. He makes love with Jade in the next room while Lydia hears the whole thing while sitting beside their dying son. While there's an obvious divide between Lydia and Jade, the latter is actually in the best interests of Ryder because, as it turns out, she's in love with him, not his father. She sees only one option to save Ryder's life, but knows Lydia would not like it. Following this, she goes to visit Vale, the doctor who's also Sonny's lover, and who also turns out to be a childhood friend of Jade's. Vale agrees, somewhat reluctantly, to help her out. She heads to Quinn's house and assesses that Ryder's brain needs to be relieved of pressure, for which she has to drill a tiny incision into his skull. It is gruesome and disgusting, but it works, and while Lydia is mad that Vale is even in the house, she's at least grateful that her son is alive. Quinn briefly interacts with Vale after the surgery, telling her, in the most menacing way possible, that he'll have to find a way to repay her in the future. Then he drops a bit of a bomb. He knows that she and Sonny are together. Quinn, however, does not expand on this revelation, which is typical of his behavior. He knowingly holds others' secrets rather than immediately act on it. After performing the surgery, Ryder regains consciousness and has a short argument with his mother as she is aware of the nomads he hired to take out the widow. She leaves while Vale gives him some water, but before she is able to, Quinn enters and asks his son who set him up. Somewhere in the widow's territory, her pupils wander into a seemingly abandoned home, which Tilda asks the widow about. She tells her it is a place to go during times of danger and asks her to fetch Angelica before Sonny gets to her. Meanwhile, Sonny talks with Quinn Clipper, a former Clipper who has retired. After a short conversation, another Clipper enters and says that Quinn requests his presence. He goes to his house and is surprised to see Vale, who tells him she didn't want to be here, but was forced to be. Quinn learns that a doll named Angelica from the TikTok club was part of the setup to kill his son, so he tells Sonny to find Angelica and bring her alive so they can find the widow. Sonny and MK arrive at the town, and he tells MK to stay put while he flushes her out. Tilda is also in the town to find Angelica when she finds MK outside and is shocked. Inside the dollhouse, Sonny breaks in and Angelica attacks him, suffering a cut on his torso. Back down, Tilda approaches MK and slugs him in the face, angry that he had lied to her, and asks why he's wearing the cult uniform. They watch as Sonny chases Angelica, who asks her to tell him where the widow is. She refuses and commits suicide by falling off the balcony. Sensing an inevitable danger, MK tells Tilda to run off. Meanwhile, MK's hasty attitude eventually gets him pushed off a ledge by Sonny and then beaten up by Waldo, an old Clipper in a wheelchair. Still, Sonny is trying to teach him patience, and maybe just being in his presence will help. He takes him to Vale's place, as Sonny needs to get sewn up. When he's there, MK learns that Vale can read, and that means that she could perhaps tell him what the book about Azra says about the unknown city. Back at Quinn's house, Lydia lays into Ryder for being weak and an unfit heir to the position of Baron. She's disappointed that the son she's spent so much time defending can't even think for himself. Jade is totally in love with Ryder, but also marrying Lydia's husband, and there is an inevitable feeling that things are about to explode between the two women of Quinn's residence. After Sonny gets all stitched up, he organizes a meeting with Zephyr, an old flame of his. He wants her to clip Quinn to get rid of the worst Baron of the bunch. She, of course, disagrees, but she says she might be able to set up a meeting with someone called Jacoby. Although they do not expand on who Jacoby is right now, it is clear that Sonny is gunning for Quinn, and that's a dangerous game to be playing. On the other hand, Quinn is doing everything he can to stay alive. He visits Vale's office where MK is hiding around the corner. MK came to Vale to see if she could read the book about Azrael, but it turns out she doesn't recognize the language. Just as it looks like Quinn is about to make a violent move toward Vale, he reveals his true intentions. He's seen that Ryder is healed, and now he wants Vale to do the same for him. In the next scene, Matilda runs through a forest completely covered in blood. Having survived, along with her mother, Quinn's raid on their fort, she stumbles into the road in front of a jeep, screaming for help. When the men get out to help her, the widow throws 2 of her butterfly ninja shurikens and kills them both. Together, the widow, Matilda, and the rest of her sisters climb aboard the jeep, filled with gold, and begin to set in motion a plan that could bring about war, or at least bring down Quinn. It seems that just about everyone wants to quicken Quinn's downfall. Back at the fort, Sonny is working to train MK, but as usual, the boy is rushing into action. He's stubborn and has quite the ego when he thinks he has the upper hand on Sonny. He goes after him, but his mentor quickly puts him in his place, with his backside on the ground. That training leads to MK practicing on his own at night. When he's worried that he's not fast or strong enough, he contemplates cutting himself and enabling his powers. Sonny watches from a distance as his protege pulls out a knife, hovering it over his palm. He ultimately puts the knife away though, knowing that he can't control his rage yet. Meanwhile, one of Jade's biggest secrets is finally revealed. While she's planning her wedding along with Lydia, she tells her that instead of being enemies, they should work together, and that Jade has often viewed Lydia as a mother. But Lydia tells her that being physically intimate with both her soon-to-be husband and his son probably isn't the best idea. While Lydia and Jade are sparring over the control of the household, Quinn is once again visiting with Vale, getting an update on his tumor. She says that while she doesn't have a ton of experience treating such an ailment, she knows her father had a remedy of sorts. It's not a cure, but it could shrink the tumor and let him live longer. It's about the only option he has. After witnessing MK almost cut himself, Sonny decides that it's time to see what MK can do with his power and see if he can control it. He takes him to an abandoned part of the Badlands and swiftly cuts him with his sword. MK's eyes go dark and he punches Sonny in the chest, which sends him flying more than a few feet backwards. When Sonny and MK both regain consciousness after the incident, MK is livid. He says he's not ready to control his rage, and that he could have killed Sonny. Sonny says it's not about control, but rather balance. When his rage takes over, he needs to find something pure to focus on, something inside of him. With Quinn's reign being threatened, he decides to go on the offensive and agrees to the parley with Jacoby, another one of the 7 barons. He sends Ryder to meet with Zephyr and organize the meeting, a task that his son is not too enthusiastic about. Still, he goes and sets the meeting. But before Zephyr can leave, he says that he has his own proposal to make. When the parley finally happens, it starts off well enough, with Quinn telling Jacoby that he didn't ambush his transport and steal his gold. Furthermore, he adds that the two need to unite against the widow, who is causing all the problems between the barons. Before anyone can come to an agreement though, Matilda sneaks into the graveyard where the parley is being held and covertly throws a pickaxe, the weapon of choice and insignia of Jacoby's men, at Quinn. However, he is only saved as Sonny catches the weapon just before it slams into Quinn's skull. An all-out martial arts brawl ensues, with everyone in the warring faction breaking off and slaughtering one another. It's MK, who chases down Matilda, who nobody else saw, and begins to fight her while asking her why her mother is trying to start a war. As they're fighting though, Matilda cuts MK, and his rage takes over. He slams her against a wall and looks ready to kill her until she shouts his name and pleads for her life. The black slowly fades from his eyes and he passes out as Matilda makes her escape, throwing a butterfly ninja star at Sonny as he stumbles upon the scene. It looks like Sonny and MK may have found the one thing in this world that MK believes is pure. That butterfly ninja star comes in handy when Sonny sees that Zephyr and Jacoby have Quinn surrounded and are about to kill him. He shows them the widow's weapon, which proves that she started all of this, that it's she who's looking to create instability. For now, the two warring barons stop fighting, but it is clear that it is an uneasy peace. When Quinn and Sonny return to the fort, they see that all of their clippers have been slaughtered by the widow and her young assassins. On top of that, all the cogs, the people who live on the fort and work on the land, have gone with her after being given the gold pieces she took from Jacoby's transport. While it seems like a simple plan, that Quinn will now go after the widow, there's more to it. Zephyr, having considered the offer from Ryder, agrees to work with him, but also with the widow. They'll work together to bring Quinn down. That gives Ryder his coveted spot as Baron, allows Zephyr to take Jacoby's place, and in turn the Widow wants Ryder to deliver MK to her. The Widow isn't the only one looking for MK, though. In the ending scene, Sonny goes to visit the River King, a man who can potentially transport him, Vale, and MK safely out of the Badlands. The River King agrees to the passage, and he only wants one thing in exchange. He wants the boy who slaughtered several people to be shipped to him. That boy happens to be MK. A question looms if Sonny will give up MK to save Vale, or will he find another way to get them all to safety. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave 1,000 likes or 100 comments if you'd like us to continue part 2. Thank you.